So this is actually how much I use SoFi Money overall, and this is actually my debit card. And look how dirty and the plastic is actually coming off of this debit card right here. It's because I actually use it so much. I've had this credit card, this debit card, this bank account for the past like 3 years, meaning it's been my main thing for a long time. And guess what? I'm not loyal to any banks. Although though, there's never any excitement in having to switch banks. It's always like a headache overall, okay? But I'm going to have to go ahead and stop using SoFi. I actually stopped using it for the most part because SoFi was basically my everything bank, because SoFi had literally about everything, not about investing. I'm talking about banking, like savings and check-ins, okay, overall. And whenever I'm looking to actually put my money in a bank, I look for obviously safety, so FDIC insurance, which almost every bank actually has. I also look towards having a pretty good yield, which by the way, it's an online bank, so it should have one. And I also look for a bank with no fees. That's my main thing. That's all I look forward to. So you might be thinking, Tommy, why switch now after 3 years? Because obviously things have changed. So when things change, I can't just be blindly loyal and say, hey, I'm gonna stick around even though they're just using my money and not giving me what I actually deserve. That's not how things work, okay? So that's why I'm actually leaving. In this video, I'm going to cover all of the details, okay? And as always, guys, like this video on top of also subscribe and hit the bell shit notified. And of course, I'm going to tell you exactly what bank I'm actually moving to now, or what bank I already moved to, because I already made these changes for making this video, because that's the way you actually want to get it done. Now, first, I want to tell you guys basically what were the reasons that I love SoFi Money so much. Well, when this bank actually came out, like about 3 years ago, I was one of the first to actually get it. They were offering absolutely zero fees. And I always used to call in and test customer service to see exactly, hey, is this customer service good? That means, do they actually answer the phone? Does it solve your problems? Are they nice? Are they educated on what they're actually selling you? And the answer was yes, yes, yes. And I actually liked it a lot. But mostly, when I said no fees, I mean, for example, they had 0 ATM fees. And that was massive for me, because if it is, for example, an online bank, whenever I need to use an ATM to take cash out sometimes, guess what? I don't want to be charged $3 or $4 or $12. Yeah, ATMs charge us sometimes. The answer is I don't want any of those fees. And this bank said, hey, we do no ATM fees, not just in America, nationwide, but we actually do it internationally. In the entire earth, there is no ATM fee. So I can be in Africa, I can be in Europe, I can be in some island somewhere. Put this card in an ATM and that fee will be reversed and the money will be back in my account unlimited times. And that to me was awesome. On top of that, when it came to having, for example, a high yield savings accounts, there were no loops to actually jump over. It didn't say, hey, you need to use the card 6 times a month. You need to have, for example, direct deposit with the card. None of that stuff actually existed. It was just, hey, it's a good card. There are no fees. You get a high yield. That's about it. And it's actually good customer service. For all those reasons, I love this card. And not just that, but they had this very gimmicky, cool feature, which allowed me to actually have this one card, but actually have multiple accounts within the actual banking system, meaning that's something called vaults. So, for example, I have my main check-ins, but off my check-ins, I have, for example, a savings for buying a new iPhone, emergency account, travel, paying off debt, and I can have that money locked away in different parts, so that way I don't actually use it whenever I'm spending money, okay? To me, that was such a cool feature, to have multiple accounts within one bank and not have to worry about having to open up a bunch of accounts out there. That's awesome to me. And that's why I recommended SoFi to you guys. And about 150 plus people actually went over there and signed up. And I know that because I saw the referrals I actually got by recommending it. And that was just the referrals. I don't even know how many more people actually signed up because of SoFi because of us here on this channel. So that's the reason. It's also my responsibility to tell you exactly why I'm actually leaving SoFi. So what exactly happened and why did I stop actually using SoFi? The answer is they changed. So they started to introduce little loops, okay? Overall, new customers no longer actually got the entire ATM worldwide deal anymore. So I have it because I'm basically like an old member, but not everyone else can actually get it anymore. And that was kind of like, that's kind of messed up because new members don't have it anymore. But it wasn't like a big deal breaker for me. Same thing was, okay? As far as their savings accounts, they introduced a new policy that you need to accept, and if you don't accept, you earn 0% interest. So I was actually earning 0% interest for a while when rates was actually record low, and I was like, no big deal, doesn't matter. But then once rates went back to normal and we were earning like 3%, 2%, 4% now with some savings accounts out there, I was still earning like 0%, and I was like, what's going on here? And I noticed I have to accept their new terms and policy, and it's called SoFi Plus. Now, if I accept SoFi Plus, what's going to happen is very simple. I get 3.75% as a savings rate, which actually sounds pretty cool. I actually, if I have a paycheck, I can actually get it 2 days early, but overall, it's just a savings rate, okay? That's what we're actually interested in, okay? Not anything else. So when you think about this, tell me, what's the big deal? Just accept. The answer is there's a loop to it now. There's a loop, and I don't like loops to actually jump over because I have to have deposits, or for example, direct deposit that equal more than $1,000 per month. And I don't like that because a lot of people, they don't have that. And me personally, I don't even have like a normal job where I basically get paid from an employer. So I don't even have that either. So I can't even qualify for it even if I actually wanted to. So now that actually alienates me. So if it alienates me, then what am I doing there, okay? It's that simple. So the reason I'm leaving SoFi is because they introduced a new loop. And the loop is basically, hey, if you want to get a decent rate as far as your, like a high yield, right, for your savings or for your emergency account, you're not going to get it here unless you have, for example, direct deposit setup and you actually earn about $1,000, okay? If they had said, hey, if you keep $1,000 in the account, then we're going to give it to you, but it's kind of like, hey, you need to have this direct deposit, and I don't even have that. So it doesn't make sense for me. Now, is SoFi a bad bank? The answer is no. SoFi's still solid. It's still great. But it just doesn't make sense for me anymore. And that's why I'm having to leave. Because if I stay there, I'm earning 0% on my savings. You might say, Tommy, 0%, 3% is still being up by inflation. What's the big deal? The answer is eroding it even faster. And that makes no sense for me personally. And again, business is business. And I'm going to tell you exactly, am I going to close this account? The answer is no. So here's exactly what I'm going to be doing. First of all, I had some money in SoFi, like my emergency account and some savings, okay, like for taxes or whatever. That money now, I'm going to hold it in my new account, which is basically Discovery. So Discovery actually has a savings account, and they're actually paying about like 3.35%, something like that. Not crazy, but they're actually consistent. They've been doing it for a very long time, and whenever rates go down, they go down. When rates go up, they go up. They're consistent, and there is no loop to actually jump over. There is no, you need to have this much money in there, you need to direct deposit this. There is none of that stuff, and that's why I like it. They also have great customer service, and that's why I also like it. So for that money, my emergency money, my savings money, I'm going to be using Discover Bank. As far as, for example, my daily spending or my splurging, okay, the answer is I'm going to keep using SoFi Money because I do have that feature to kind of like take money out whenever I want to. And because it's just, for example, like, hey, it's money I'm going to be spending potentially like on a daily basis, I don't have to worry about having to earn like some high interest rate on it because that's not what that money is about. So SoFi still works great for that personally. So overall, what am I actually saying? What am I recommending? What am I doing overall? The answer is if I had like a normal job, I'm getting paid a direct deposit, and I can actually compile with this whole thing, I'll probably keep SoFi because they have great rates overall, good customer service, good features overall. But aside from that, because I don't have that, I can't keep it, okay? Now, if I have my whole situation, I'm going to keep Discover for my savings, and that basically works great for me. Now, there's also a third option. So I gave you guys so far SoFi. If you have direct deposit, if you don't care about moving it there, if you want to keep your savings in there, makes sense. A great account, okay? But by the way, I don't think you get the ATM thing anymore, so keep that in mind. If you want that feature, look up on Google debit cards that don't have any ATM fees. They exist, but they're not unlimited like SoFi for the old members. They're usually like $6 per month, something like that. That's fine, okay? No big deal. So you want to use that. But overall, there's also, for example, Capital One 360, and they actually have this account, and that savings is also competitive. But they also allow you to have multiple accounts within that account. So it's kind of like SoFi, but not really for spending money. And it's kind of good this far, but you can actually have multiple accounts within that account. So the three I recommend the most is SoFi, if you have their deposit, Discover if you don't want to jump over any loopholes, and then Capital One if you're actually very interested in having multiple accounts within one bank account and still earning a decent high yield. So those are the options. That's what I'm using. And overall, guys, SoFi is great, was great, will probably still be great, but overall, I don't like loopholes. I can't stand it, or like loops to actually jump over to actually just get something that should basically just get for having my money in there. I don't like it at all. So that's why I'm no longer using SoFi to keep the bulk of my money that I'm parking to actually invest. That is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified, and comment down below what bank are you actually using. Up here is another video. Here's my Facebook, subscribe, and as always, Long Term Team officially out.